and good afternoon. Welcome to Flory Models live lockdown show on Tuesday. I'm reading it. Tuesday, the 24th of November, 2020. It's Groundhog Day, everybody. We trust you're all doing very well. Very quiet out there. Look, there's not anybody in YouTube chat even. YouTube chat's very quiet already. I see our chat's all right. There's actually, last time I looked, there's about 5 of you in there, but there's a load more piled in now. They're obviously just leaving it to the last minute. Do you know what I've done? I left my coffee in the kitchen. Brilliant.
Oh.
Have to warm that up in 2 hours' time.
There's a few in YouTube chat now coming in.
What do you mean, no picture?
Hey?
No video? Hey? What?
I'm watching it on YouTube. I've got a picture.
So am I. Afternoon. Hello. YouTube, are we live? Can you see us? Just to check. Apparently, there's afternoon all. Afternoon all.
Yeah, video fine. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, Flory Models land, can you hear and see us? Picture's fine. So there you go. Well, God, I tell you what, you guys give me a heart attack when you say that, because you just then I'm thinking everything looks perfect. Both computers are saying it's running fine, and then everyone's like, I've got no sound, I've got no, and you're like, you do it for that one person who says it, and then you screw everything up. Anyway, never mind, we're all good. Everyone's saying we're fine. Video is good. No video via my TV. Oh, well, that's your TV. Don't watch on TV. I'll tell you what it is with the TV problem, is it's lag. Yeah, what happens is, I don't know if I can do it, we can't do it on the fly. When we run this a bit more live than normal, it doesn't have time to recode it before it streams, so you can't watch it on big TVs. That's the trouble. We've had this before. We've had this when we were doing the auctions, wasn't it? Because people were saying they couldn't watch it on TVs. It's because there is no lag. It's live. So your TV hasn't got time to process it and put it onto a nice big screen and all the rest of it. That's the trouble it has. So if we go back to the old one where it's about 30 seconds delay, then you can watch it. But if you want it a bit more live, then you'll be all right. If not, flick over to YouTube or on your phone or wherever it is on a poor man's device. It's all you lot on 65-inch plasma TVs like Andy's got. How big's your TV, Andy?
Oh, mine's only a little one. It's only 55-inch one.
Oh, only. I feel like I have a portable.
Need a bigger one, but...
You've not managed to convince Shell about that one yet. And yours needs to break, does it?
I keep saying it's going to break, yeah. So every time I throw in something on it or pour something down the back of it, I keep thinking, yeah, it's going to pack in, but it doesn't.
Yes. Some of you were saying about Chromecasting as well. You could do it that way. That works.
Yeah. Plastic Modeler says, any idea what Matt wants for the Argosy kit?
We're not selling it. Well, I don't know. He might do the Argosy.
The Argosy is...
Yeah, he might do the Argosy thinking about it. He originally was going to build it and then... So, I don't know. What was it up for? We did have it up for sale at one point.
Yeah.
And then he decided he was going to build it along with me with a VC10 and then bottled it.
It did, didn't it?
So anyway, we trust you're all doing very well. So we seem to be all streaming okay. Today is a very informal day because, again, it's just me and Andy. And since we read out most of the questions yesterday, you guys are going to have to help us out a bit on this one and come up with some good topical conversations that either I can have a good rant about or we can demo and show, whichever comes first. Anyway, up with you today is another review, because you've got a review every day this week, and you probably might get two as well at some point. We've got up is the Peugeot 306. So, do you know what? The only Peugeot I've ever owned, I'm just trying to think, that I've owned was the old school, I think it was the 104, which was a square cube. It was like a Fiesta, the Mark 1 Fiesta. I had one of them, which was my second car after a Hillman Minx. I had a Hillman Minx for my first car. Like, who has that with a bench seat and everything? So you go around corners, you used to slide across. It was great. And but yeah, so that's the only one. But apart from that, I've never owned a Peugeot.
I've had a 206 GTI.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But fair, the engine was really nice. It was a nice, torquey, powerful engine, but the gearbox and suspension were absolutely rubbish on it, made of paper.
Yeah, well, that's French, though, isn't it? All French cars got really soft seats, soft suspension, and really light steering. It's for going around the towns.
And the electrics on them are useless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think my wife had a Clio, and we had problems with the windscreen wipers, and it turns out it was a bad earth on one of the rear lights.
which then screwed up your windscreen wipers. Yeah, I know. Tell us about it.
How's that work?
I'll tell you, we had a Clio as well, and then Liam the lad had it as well afterwards.
That, yeah.
And it was the thing is that it went through HT leads all the time. It'd eat through HT leads. So next thing you know, it's missing, and it's because one of the HT leads. I mean, it had about 4 sets of HT leads in over 6 years, but I don't know why it was eating through them. Anyway, little things. So yes, 205 GTI, absolutely. Yeah, that was the one to have when I was a young youth. But you couldn't afford the insurance.
Neil says, enjoy petrol cars while you can. You can have petrol cars as long as we want.
Well, you won't be able to buy a new one, apparently, by the end
but you can still have your
2030.
classic. You can still have your classic Ford Sierra 1.6
GLS.
in 30 years' time.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to be like Mad Max, though, isn't it? Because you'll be the only one who's at the lights revving. Everybody else will be deadly silent because they're all electric. You know, it would be Demolition Man, wouldn't it? Because he gets what car's he got in there? Is it a Mustang? Something like that. He gets one out from back in the day. So they're all driving around in little electric things. He's got a Mustang going around the streets. So yes, it would definitely be a good one. But anyway, the Peugeot is up for review right now. It's new. It used to be Platts, and I've noticed it still says Platts on the box. But apparently it is new now. So unlike the little blue Hoover in Teletubby Land, they do make very nice kits. So it's very nice. Good solid plastic right the way through. It's got a little bit of burring, so obviously because you've got a roll cage in there, you're going to have to do a little bit of cleanup with that. But generally, they are very good, solid cars to go through. The decals are absolutely immense on it, and I thought originally that you'd probably paint the blue and the red even, but you don't. It's got decals for everything. So you haven't even got to paint it in theory. If you obviously you would, but no, very nice indeed. But we've been reviewing quite a lot of the Platts new, but I'm told now they're all just new. So you have to change all the titles now.
Cool. Another job. Gordon says in YouTube chat, says, Phil, what's your go-to metalizer? I'm at the point where I need to paint my exhaust on my Rebel Tornado. I think metalizer will look the best.
Again, it's a little bit in between. Normal metalizer is in, natural metal finish on any aircraft, things like that. Then technically it's extreme metals. Absolutely love them. I've got them all. Very easy to use, and I think they're the easiest one to use as long as you've got a good bottle. Again, we spoke about it a million times over the last couple of weeks. It's all to do with the surface. Gloss black first, put this down on top, you'll have an absolutely stunning finish to it. Okay, but if you're doing engine work and you're just in amongst it and all the rest of it, you've got options because MRP's metal range is actually very nice if you want to do it those with their metalizers. And obviously you've got the old ones like, which I can never remember their name. I've got them down here somewhere. I did have. Oh my god, it's moved. What have I done with it? Yes, Andy, what's the old metalizer people called?
Well, there's
Alclad.
Oh, Alclad, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, Alclad, that type of thing. They work really, really well. And also, if you are doing the Vallejo one, which is acrylic, which are these? The actual Vallejo metal colours, just for engines and stuff like that. These are good as well, just on little jobs. I always put a agitator in there to wake them up.
Alclad did get a bit of a rebranding recently, though, didn't it?
Oh, they've become bigger, though.
Yeah.
Shows far arm out the loop. I didn't know that. I thought it was like Alclad, because they did a colour range now, don't they, as well, which I've never tried.
Yes, they do, yeah. No, I've not tried those. I've only got the metal ones.
So yes, but yeah, it's one of those things. At the end of the day, it's what you work with and what you like. So if you're into obviously your acrylics and you just want to do metal acrylics, then actually the Vallejo acrylic metal colours, very, very nice. The nice thing about these as well, you can hand paint these, and I do little bits of hand painting with them because they're very good. But as you can hear, I've got in there an M5 marine grade nut, just to make sure it all mixes up and keeps all nice and stuff like that. Generally though, big areas, stuff like that, I do like extreme metals, and I do it for smaller stuff as well. But if you just want a couple of drops in your airbrush and go, I must admit I've got the MRP's metalizer range. That's very nice. Or if you wanted to, you can go down and use buffer balls. So that's another option. We showed on when we were doing the Telford weekends, I did one of my segments about buffing. And we did an engine on there and buffed it, so you get that metal look and luster and everything else because it's actually a buffable. So you can go in and obviously you get different shades of that. The stainless steel is very nice for engines. It's got that blue thing. Yes.
There's also one about Bronco bringing out a MiG-15, and on the internet it says it's the Edard moulding, but yeah, you're right. Edard have never done a 48th MiG-15. They've done a 72nd and a 114, but never done 14111. Yeah, they've never done a 48th. And others are saying it's a Trumpy clone.
Yes, I think it is. Do you have any Tamiya mica red? I haven't here. I've only got the normal one. I think, yeah, literally, I don't have their new LP mica red. I've just got their standard red. It's supposed to be very nice. I know that because all their micas are really very, very nice. I've got their, what was that one? That's titanium gold. I don't know if I've actually got any of the micas here. Yeah, mica silver. We had a play with that. That's really bright. So that'll be under the black label range, no doubt. But yes, they're very, very nice indeed. If you want to do the micas and the blues, like we said before, the LP range, that's the thing. They are very car-led. There's some nice colours in there for doing cars and stuff. I did the big truck and the monster thing. That was all in their gold. We did it in that one, so I wanted it to be a little bit different. Turned out very nice. Went down beautifully. Very, very nice indeed.
Yeah. Just spray it with the mica red, and if anyone says it's wrong colour, say it's had a vinyl wrap.
There you go. And Alclad do quick drying enamel paints. Are there lacquers or actually enamels? Alclad 2. I don't know. Are they lacquers, Andy? You've got it on your label?
Pretty sure they're lacquers, yeah.
I thought they were lacquers. I like the way Tim's put the bottles look like MRP. I think you'll find it's definitely the other way round.
Yeah.
MRP copied Alclad 100% on that because Alclad's been around for the last 20 years. So they've always had them in those bottles.
Apart from saying highly flammable, it doesn't say.
Oh.
Oh, lacquers. Sorry, Alclad 2 lacquers, yeah.
Oh, right, there you go.
Yeah,
mind you, then Rob says, McCluskey says, Alclad 2 are enamels.
No, definitely lacquers.
Definitely lacquers, they're saying.
Let me just have a sniff and just test.
Go on, give it the... Yeah, that's lacquers.
Smells nice, that does. It even says on the... we can see in the red.
Hey, look, you've got your own screen today. Look, I can give you your own page. Why is my Bugs for Tricks isn't working? Why not? Hold on, let me turn it on.
I haven't got autofocus on, but...
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can... I don't know why that's not working today. Hold on, let me bring up on here. There you go.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can see it, but in the red bit there, it even says Alclad 2 lacquers.
Oh, right. All my bottles say lacquer. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, definitely lacquers.
Yes. Right, we have got some questions in the other one. Let's just pop in back up to here, because there's a good one about airbrushing in here. Soren says, hi Phil, a question about paints. For the upcoming group build next year, I want to build a jet fighter, and it's not going to be a natural metal finish, but rather in a painted in anti-corrosion aluminium coating. How would you go about recommending this? LP11 everything, because it's got that color. It looks like painted over. Like we said before, if I was going to do a Mustang now, I'd do the wings in LP11, and then I'll probably use dark aluminium or something else for the body where it is metal.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, no,
LP11.
definitely the way to go on that one. Alan says, hi Phil, I spent quite a bit of money on the hobby over the last 9 months. Andy, you can vouch for that. I think I would have haven't have done all this COVID stuff, not kicked off. Has the advent of COVID improved or hindered your business, i.e. the balance that has been a benefit with the lockdown? Definitely, from a flat rate money at the end of the day, COVID has been fantastic, because order wise, normally what happens is I call it the cliff. And Oh, Andy, can you just do this? I've just got a delivery. Sorry,
Yeah,
one sec.
no problems at all. Yeah, like Phil says, I mean, from the PM side of it, sales have, I'd say, tripled. Whether or not it's because of COVID, because it's the third year that we've been into business, and business grows as you go along. But it's definitely definitely
delivery.
I was saying that PM models is like tripled from last year.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine all of that's down to COVID, because business has grown.
Naturally, the company's increasing as it goes.
But it's definitely helped this past year that sales have definitely gone up.
The thing is, from Flooring Models' point of view, I call it the cliff. We get to May, and it's literally just goes off, and 2/3 of the business dies off in the actual summer months. So it literally, if you got a line and you were coming along, you get to May and it does that, and it goes along, and we get to October and it goes up, and it literally does that. This year, it's done exactly the opposite, completely, 100% turned it around. So we're up across the board. On the downside of it, though, I have to say it's been a lot more work. So obviously we've done a hell of a lot of live shows. We've done all stuff that normally do, because normally in the summer we tend to relax a little bit and you can have a bit of time, and we do the show circuit and all those things. This year it's been absolutely full on. Totally full on. I must admit, it's beginning to take its toll, let's put it like that. So I think definitely after Turkey Shoot weekend, I think running up to Christmas, we're going to slow down a little bit, because it has been absolute crazy, because there's more orders, which means obviously been doing more stuff. From a PM side of it and Flooring Model side of it, a lot of it, we've been doing a lot of running around trying to secure stock and procure stock and chasing up stock. So finding out when things are coming in, there's a lot of time spent on the phone and emails back and forth. I know from my side of it, just getting hold of bottles, plastic bottles that the wash goes in, I have spent almost weeks now securing them, getting them, making sure they're all okay, because again, they're all being used, and the manufacturing for them is all just focused purely on COVID stuff. So it's sanitizers and PPE and all things like that. So the factories are not making these. So just getting hold of something like bottles, you might remember back in the summer, a plastic cap, you couldn't find one on the planet in black. I could find white, I could get other things and all the rest of it. And we had to do a limited run of 500 with aluminium caps, because that's literally all I could find. They're 5 times the price of a plastic cap. But it's all we could do, so you had to do it. So you've got the headache from that. We had various things with pigment. Oh, that was a nightmare, because everywhere shut, because the mines weren't open, the processing plants weren't open, and the packaging thing where they put them into bags and all the rest of it, they had all closed completely for COVID. So they shut down middle of March and didn't come back. And then that was the same thing for the sanders. You might remember we were out of sanders, because the factory, I was due for delivery on the 24th. They shut on the 18th. My stuff was sat in the warehouse. But they just walked away. They closed everything down. So you've got the hassle of that, and you're trying to find out how it comes through. So from a point of view of business, it's definitely, I call it a double-edged sword. Yes, it's been good financially, but it's been a hell of a stress trying to get everything in there and doing it and making sure and post, and it'll be one of those ones where it probably, although it's nice, it's not nice. But again, it's one of those things, like this time round with the lockdown we've just had, I secured and did spend a fortune on stock. So we've got sanders coming out of our ears at the moment. We've got bottles, I've got enough to last me almost 6 months. So yeah, from that point of view, it's a different way, but it's just learning to live with COVID and dealing with COVID and everything else. But as I said before, a lot of this is very much the old swan syndrome, isn't it? It seems nice and calm on the surface, but literally before this, the show, we're always talking, trying to discuss things, all those different bits and pieces, securing stuff. When's it coming in? We don't know. When are you going to get it? We don't know. It's like, it can be a little bit troublesome some days. And I must admit, there's a lot of companies out there that have gone to the wall or really struggling really bad and all the rest of it. And, you always, it's one of those things. You don't like to sort of say you're doing really well and it's gone fantastic, because you seem to be cashing in on a pandemic, which just seems to be the wrong thing to do. But, it's one of those things. The world's come along. Hopefully we adapted. And that's what we tried to do with all of this. We wanted to adapt to obviously, make sure we got good service for you, hopefully to entertain you. I know I've had lots of feedback from you over this one and the previous lockdowns as well, saying how much you appreciate us doing these things and keeping you guys motivated and sane whilst you're stuck at home because you can't work because you're furloughed, or in some of your cases, I know I've spoken to you about it, you've lost your jobs, and now you're having to job hunt, but there's not a lot of point at the moment because, that's it, the world has gone to pot. But hopefully, so what they're saying now, by spring next year, we'll all be injected.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, from me as a personal point of view, I mean, like, my wife got made redundant and
caught COVID.
She's now, me?
Your wife got made redundant.
I got
you caught COVID.
Yeah.
You were off work for ages.
Yeah. And she's now packing boxes at Amazon because it was a job and she needed a job quick, but and she loves it, weirdly.
Yeah.
But it's like, at the moment it's like bags and boxes, isn't it? Yeah, so like trying to get hold of stuff and I know from PM side, Matt's side, and I know your side is that problems with postage that COVID's caused trying to get stuff out, and then people like expecting the deliveries, and then it's just like it's then dealing with all that side of it, having to talk to people and say, your parcels are on the way, just hang fire a bit longer. But every email you have to reply to takes more time out of your day, and then it's an extra thing, isn't it? But
it is, I can understand people's frustrations because I suppose I see it literally from almost three sides, because as a manufacturer, I appreciate the supply chain had completely gone to pot first time round, and this time it hasn't. It's not perfect, but it is working still, which is quite nice. But then I see it from the customer's point of view when they're on lockdown, they've got nothing else to do. They just want a pack of sanders or some washes or a kit from PM or something. We've sent it, but they haven't got it, and I know that must be really frustrating because I think the longest one I had, and it only got there a few weeks ago, but that was sent in the beginning of June, and it sat in Florida in a sorting center and just didn't move. And it was like really frustrating. And luckily, it was a member's order that went out, and he was, don't worry about it, I don't need it, it's fine, it will turn up and all the rest of it. But it was annoying to me that it sat that long in there because other orders were just flowing through, but obviously there must have been a cage or a whatever container full of posts which was getting overlooked, and I just want it moved through. So I understood obviously the frustrations of things not getting there, and obviously you guys just want something to do whilst you are furloughed or laid off or whatever it is. So, and getting it out. And then you've got the other side of it from a business point of view of just making sure we've got stocks coming in, as well. So we're speaking to our suppliers, and our suppliers literally are telling us they don't know because shipping containers around the world are all out of place. Let's face it, we've had delays from Tamiya. We've had a lot of delays from obviously the Far East of kits coming round and in. And then we've got the big thing where we're trying to pass on the information, which we're getting sort of secondhand. It's not sometimes directly from the horse's mouth, but I've spoken to a friend who's spoken to Airfix or has spoken to another manufacturer, and they have missed production slots and things like that. So we're trying to get that information out as well. So it does make it a little bit of a circuit all going round. And I think most people fully understand we're in a pandemic. We're in completely unknown territory. It's never happened in our lifetimes before. So now you're into a situation of making the best you can do. But obviously you're going to get that small majority who just don't care and they just want it, and it's like, they'll blame everybody else but themselves, and it is, you do have to sort of pander to those people and do your best by them to get them the information and to find out where their kits are and everything else like that, and get on with it. But hopefully, I think we've all learned a little something from this, that patience is a virtue. And I've often said one of the biggest things in this hobby is patience. You need to understand patience. That bit of walking away from a model and letting it dry, letting that filler properly dry, let the paint coat properly dry. Modelers aren't patient people by their nature, I don't think. That's the trouble. So we want stuff, we want it like yesterday, So, but as I say, we are worse than you guys for it, trust me, because we are chasing for orders all the time as well, like when's such and such coming in, when's, so.
And yes. The US Postal Service had a little thing going on for about a month, didn't they, where called an election, so they were dealing with a lot of extra
lots
stuff
of
going on.
posting
So
stuff. And again, I think it's just that thing of like, if you just take a breath and sit back and just like, now you've got Christmas post. And let's face it, when we come out of lockdown, it's going to be December next week. So you've literally got 3 weeks till Christmas. The world's going mad, so the post system is just going to collapse under it. So if you think about it, poor old, we've got a couple of friends of ours who are postmen, and I've got friends of mine who are delivery drivers and stuff like that. And it is just chaos, utter chaos at the moment. So yes.
One of the guys on YouTube chat is asking about Tamiya compound.
Mm-hmm.
If we can hold it in one hand. Them things.
Yes, that you can't get over here.
That you can't get over here. And it comes in coarse, fine and finish.
Mm-hmm.
That way around, coarse, fine, finish. And they're basically just a cutting compound. I can't imagine for a minute that they are designed by Tamiya for Tamiya. I bet they're a generic tea-cut type product. Cutting compound. Nothing special, just come in.
To be honest, if I want something not quite as abrasive as this, I have got some Auto Glim, which is probably the same as the fine as that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, what the guy says, Maguire's. It's any sort of like car polish will probably be similar to the finish.
Yeah.
And the course is probably
T-cut,
similar to T-cut, just that in, but it does the job, and it's don't know.
Like we've often said though, the thing is, I wouldn't get totally like car products are just the same, because they tend to be a little bit more refined. I find, hobby products tend to have, perhaps it won't be quite as harsh as T-cut. It'll be a little bit, because obviously if you put T-cut on like model paint, it'll probably just go straight through it. Because it's quite a thing. Oh look.
See, one of the guys said he prefers your polishers for doing. That was a bit rough, isn't it?
That was a dodgy one.
For doing canopies, but I think the idea of this originally was for doing, because obviously Tamiya do a lot of model cars.
Yes,
was for polishing.
It's a polishing compound for doing mirror finishes on cars. Absolutely.
We use it for other things like canopies, but where you could use one of them.
Yeah.
Without the ripping.
Without that. I have to send you some for Christmas. Again, you can, like somebody just put on there about toothpaste. To be honest, I used to use toothpaste. For polishing canopies was always what I think. Bit of Colgate, you smell nice as well, tasted good.
Yeah.
You could lick it clean. But I used to use toothpaste all the time. I used to have a little drill. My old ones I used to flog, which were a very cheap version of these. And I used to have a little mop on it, toothpaste, and off I went. It was great.
But my car, one of the headlights was a bit faded. It was going in for its MOT. And I genuinely used that for polishing the headlight up. I got like one of the mop things on me electric drill and used Tamiya compound just for cleaning the headlight up.
Definitely.
Worked perfectly.
Yes. Right, if we just do this one here for PK, and then we can do some more questions off of the chats. So PK saying, hi Phil, PK here, a couple of questions for you. Regarding dipping canopies in Pledge Clear, should I first paint the canopy frame and then dip it, or do you do it the other way around? To be honest with you, A10, look at the A10 one, because I did a full thing on doing it this way. I prefer to paint the canopy, then dip it. The reason for that is I don't like masking a dipped canopy, because if you're using Pledge, it's very soft and it can scratch, to be honest with you. And also you can leave tape marks in it if it's not 100% cured. And when we say that, it takes over a week. So what I tend to do is take the center seam out, because I think that one had it, if I remember rightly, polished it like I did on the video the other day, get rid of it all like that, paint it. So I'll mask it, paint it and all the rest of it. And then as a painted canopy, with the decals on it and all the rest of it, I dipped the entire thing. And then all you do is come back and then hand paint just a little bit of satin coat or flat just on the framework. And that's exactly what I did to the A10. And I think it comes out nicer because you haven't masked over or anything the dipped finish then. So it gives it a better crystal clear lip to it. And you don't have the worry of unmasking it and finding you made a right mess and have to go again. So I prefer to do it other way round. So take care of the center seam, get rid of all of that, polish it and all the rest of it. You're absolutely fine. Mask it, paint it, then dip it. You'll be absolutely fine with it that way.
Also, if you mask it with the Tamiya masking tape and they tell you to fill the middles in with mask oil, which is an ammonia-based product, it'll
eat
the clear off.
It just makes a right mess. So definitely don't put mask oil over clear. He's saying down here he's got a Badger Renegade Velocity double action airbrush and recently noticed that the trigger remains depressed even when you let go of it. Is it time to replace some of the parts, or will WD-40 with the trigger up and down spring mechanism it's actually the schematics for it? Okay, so as you can see, that's not working. Why is that not working? I don't understand why it's not working. Probably because hold on, I have to do it manually. God, it's like 1980s. Right, so as you can see on down in here, this bit here, so this is technically what's known as your air stem, okay? So this bit here, so this is the bit that comes up. This pushes down into here, which then pushes on here, which then pushes down and lets the air in. Normally it comes up the side and then it will then come along here and there'll be a hole on the end. That's where your air comes from. What can happen is one of two things. Firstly, this little O-ring here, which is 0094, okay, that, if it's an old-fashioned rubber one, can swell. And when it swells, it grips this bit here, which is the little spike coming up, which then gets pushed down, okay? And because it's gripping onto it, it's not slipping through freely, okay? Oh, not another delivery. I can't have another delivery. So anyway, that can be a little bit of a problem with that one. All right. So what you want to do, if you can, is just, as you say, you can put a little bit of super lube or WD-40 will do the trick. And you can put it on there just like that. All right, let me look at a security camera. Right, 1 second. Andy, can you just... Sorry, it's live, guys. Where are we? PM show. 1 second.
Let me just answer a couple more questions out of the chat while Phil's doing that. There's nothing on our chat. What are you talking about? Dentists? Strange people. Right. Right. Phil, you were playing an old video yesterday. Any plan to revisit some of the older kits, such as those Tamiya gems you pointed out with Matt a few weeks ago, with updated techniques? Phil has actually talked about in the past about revisiting some of the older builds that he's done, and he would like to go over some. So never say never. But the problem is like a lot of us want him to build the latest kits to see how they build up. So yeah, it's like revisiting older ones. It's a bit different.
Seamless.
Yeah, we're just talking about some of the older builds that you've done.
Yes.
Would you revisit some of the older kits? And I said you have talked about revisiting older kits with different techniques, haven't you, about doing them in the past?
Yeah.
That you've done in the past. But like I said, we all want you to build the newer kits to see how they go together. So it's all like we're always pushing you to build the newer kits rather than going back.
Yes, everybody wants to know what the latest kit goes together like.
Yeah.
So I have gone back and done some of the older ones though over the last few years. So I just run back and forth to the unit with a load of Jiffy bags. 500 Jiffy bags, and then the other 400 just turned up. Sorry, I have a heart attack. Right, just finish off where we were. So if I just go to me, I show you on the close up. I think we've got to close up. We've got to do it all manually today, haven't I? There we go. So what we're talking about with that, sorry, wrong button. Oh my Lord, I am literally all over the place today. Right. Where's that one? There we go. So on this airbrush, if I can get one of these to come off, we'll be all right. If I can't, okay, so we want to, okay, so it's a similar situation. That. See, trouble is, I'm too good at cleaning my airbrushes these days. Now, what I want to do is, if I can, is get the entire of the bottom of this off. I get this off in one. There it goes. Okay, so I know it's a different airbrush, but it's a similar setup. So down in here, you've got the white. This one here is actually Nomax, which apparently is Teflon, because we've had this discussion before, okay? So this goes up and down. What you can do, what happens is, I'll just show you in this one. All that happens is, this bit here just pushes up and down on this. Okay, so what happens is, if this is too tight, it can actually impede its travel, and it just comes up very slowly, and you get it running on. Now, there's two things that can happen. With the Teflon ones, it doesn't do it. But if it's an old-fashioned one, you can just put in literally a few drops of Super Lube or WD-40. You can put WD-40 on this because it's not in the air system. So it's not going to put oil into your airbrush or anything else like that. You're just going to put it round up here. So just literally put a drop there, and then you can just dab it up and down, and it should come flawlessly. The other thing as well that can happen, you can see the seat under here. You can actually see that red in there would have had the Teflon sort of, the name on it has come off. There's the air hole at the top. So that's where the air is all going to go, and the air comes out of this hole here on this side. So what happens is, if you imagine, if this screws in really and goes too tight, it can actually squash down a little bit on the top of the actual O-ring, which in that one is R0049. And again, it then squeezes the actual little pin coming up, and that can impede it as well. Now, I'm an expert on this because as a person who suffers from sciatica for the last Christ knows how long, it's basically doing exactly the same thing. So anyone who suffers from sciatica will know exactly what I mean. So, and it's where obviously the sciatic nerve is being pushed by the discs in your spine. It's doing that, and then obviously it messes up your body, but it's doing roughly the same thing. I don't know if that is a normal rubber O-ring or if it is just a normal Teflon one, something else like that. This particular airbrush, many years ago, they always used to be rubber, and they switched them all out now for Teflon seals. Everything's Teflon, but back in the day it was rubber. But if this bit in here is too tight and screwed in too tight, it can do it. So maybe just to start with, just slightly unscrew the body. Not tons, just literally take a little bit of torque out of it. Okay, because if it is too tight, it will squash that donut, which then pushes on the seal, which means it can't move up and down. Last thing, just under here, sorry, I shouldn't have switched cameras. Under here, you can see you've got a slot. You can screw that up and make the spring tighter, which makes it a lot harder to push down and makes it sharper. I have mine, as you can see, almost open, so you get maximum amount of travel. Okay, so when this is in here, like, if I can get it in, like this, it's got quite a lot of travel with it. Okay, but if you screw that right the way in, you'll end up with it and it's hardly got anything, and it's literally just on or off. Okay, so that's the other thing as well. I'm not sure if that one does it. Looking at it, the bottom part, which looks like R0012, looks like you can screw it in and out because it's the same type of system on this one. If you screw this out, the pin will drop down and all the rest of it. You can see the internal gubbins, but that's what it is. But I call it run-on, and it's been spoken about, and I've even done videos on it before where you push down, and I've demonstrated it, and it just goes really high air pressure and slowly it turns itself off, but you're not even touching it. You know, it's exactly the same thing. But if you want to do it the quickest way, you can just literally come in, when you see it, just put a tiny drop of your favorite lube or WD-40 just on the top there, and then just come along with this bit, okay, the top. And obviously you have to put it in slightly different, I think, on the other one. And you can then just mash it a little bit, and you'll know when it's good. It should be perfect. This one, no, they're all, to be honest, they're all pretty good. I did give them a clean before I put them all back in the unit. So, yes. But that'll be it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, the airbrush fills stripped down. That's the Harder and Steenbeck Evolution.
This is my old faithful. This airbrush here is now 23 years old. I think, yeah. So it is. I've had it a very, very long time. It is a lovely, lovely bit of kit. I don't use it anymore for lots of reasons, but mainly because I've sort of found a nicer airbrush to use. But it's one of those. I've had this one for so long. It's still old faithful. Still use it all the time. This one here is obviously the Infinity CR Plus. I've had this thing about 10 years now as well. I've got one that's older than that, which I've had about 15 years. And again, I use those ones for doing other jobs, like we were saying before. So I might use it for using metals or clears and things like that. But yeah, but that's what it is. It's just, I call it's a working part. When you do a full seal change, which there's videos on about it, you can go off and see it on the airbrush section. They're free to watch. As I say, you can buy a seal set for around about £7, I think they are. And in that, you'll get that seal, the top one, you get the front end one, the triple seal for the inside, all the seal sets. Every couple of years, I usually switch them out. So I'll literally go in there and change all the seals anyway. So yes.
One of the guys in YouTube chat was asking about my lights. I can't find the question now, but yeah, basically all the lights I've got, that's just a strip light, but it's got a daylight bulb in. That's got a daylight bulb in it, and the only other light I've got at the moment is a new spotlight.
Yes.
Same as what Phil's got, to be honest with you.
So I can show you one down there, like this one.
Yeah.
But you had the one with the barn doors. This is the cheaper version.
Yeah, I've got one
with the doors.
Barn doors, yeah.
So it's one of these. It's a thin LED one.
Yeah. But they're on daylight, but I've got set half and half, to be honest with you. So it's not purely on daylight because I'm not using it as my modelling space where I want daylight. So this is all daylight here because I want it just lighting me up and to give me a nice summery glow.
Yes, I was going to say, it's because you want a summer glow. I look like a corpse because mine are all in daylight.
Yeah, because I can summery glow that one on
I'll give mine a natural warmer look. Hold on, which one is it? Is it that one or that one? Hold on, I'll have a warmer look now.
Yeah, you can tell your bench has changed colour.
There you go. I can have a summer tan as well.
That's more of a
bloody bright. Yeah. I have to do it. I'm going to melt. That's far too bright with them all on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Obviously, you want the daylight for modelling, but then for video, you want to sort of look more elegant.
Elegant. Is that what it is?
not so anemic. And they're also asking about spray booths.
Sorry, I don't know why I've got a few technical hitches today with things not working. Hold on. You go and hit it.
Was it? Annette McCall asking about spray booths. To be fair, the ones that we use are the yeah, I'll have to check.
Bench vent.
Bench vent, that was it.
300 Ds. These are just a D, not a double D. So yes, this is both of those. Andy's got exactly the same. To be honest, we've all got them. Again, what can you say? This one here is 15, 16 years old. This one's probably about 5, 6 years old now, thinking about it. Both brilliant. Very, very good bits of kit. It's not cheap, so about 300 quid now with everything, I think.
But it's like Roger says in chat, it says buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah.
This is my second extractor.
Second filter.
I bought cheap. Yeah, I bought cheap, so you know, like I said, yeah. Then I moved on to a better one, and you won't look for another one once you got one of them.
The thing is, theoretically, you should never need one. I've got two, just because really for filming, if you can see it, I've got cameras up here as well. And the thing is that it gives me a better work area. So if I'm working on something quite large, I don't have to have the hoods on, because technically you should have. I know you've got your hood on, haven't you, Andy?
Yeah, I've got my hood on.
You've got a hood that comes over and it sticks out here. I've got one somewhere around here. And normally you would then be inside it, but for painting point of view, I need a camera above it. So I have this one up here. And then that obviously gives me a wider field of view. So also I can do bigger projects, like when we did like the B-52 and big stuff, which is quite handy for that. But I think generally for home use, you wouldn't need to get two. I think it's one of those things where it's a really nice piece of kit. It's got a fantastic draw. The actual flow rate of it is, I think, amazing, because I've had it before where we've had a candle blown out in the other room, literally, and you can see it coming in here, where it's literally just bringing it out. It's a good old job with that one.
Leighton said in chat it was him who was asking me about my lights.
Yes, Roger says you don't need a spray hood because you don't switch it on.
Hey, you do. Watch this. You're listening. Alexa, turn on extractor.
Oh, very good.
Alexa, turn off extractor.
There you go. Have you got anything else hooked up in there with it? So you got your compressor on it?
No, I need to get another thing. I need to do that because
You've just got a smart plug on it, have you? Switched off?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. I haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
I've got a
I do need to
spare
do it
dot.
on my compressor because normally times I left it on at night and then I'm lying in bed and you can go. Electrician now confused is now confused, Andy. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you do. These obviously, this one here, I know you can't see it, but there's a video all about it. But I hard ducted mine. It goes up through here, and then it goes out a hole in the wall. But if you wanted to, you could just literally get the hose and stick it out a window. Like I said before, as long as you're getting it out of the room, it's fine. I had a gentleman speak to me only a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying about it. He's got a void below his, like an old cellar that nobody goes into. And like as I pointed out, in theory, yeah, you could just cut all through the floor and have it going straight out through the floor then. As long as you've got ventilation underneath your house to let that out, then you'd be absolutely fine. But you just want it out of your environment and sort of out of your home.
Mark says, his Alexa says it can't find it. That's a problem as soon as someone says it, though, isn't it? You just...
This is it. I must admit, Alexa, sometimes she's good, other times she's bloody useless. Like, such and such a device isn't currently working. Why? I'm stood next to it.
The thing is, because a few of us have got Alexas and we talk in the evenings and we like end up telling each other's Alexas do things, and both me and Phil have got Ring doorbells and they end up going off all the time.
Yeah, it does. I think it is about 6 foot hose it comes with, is it? Maybe a bit more than that. It's a constant. Actually, I'll tell you what, I can show you. Because I've cut this one down a bit because I've used it for another project, but it comes with it's probably a little bit longer than that. Because I've cut this one off because I used it for something else, but yes.
Yeah, decent size, yeah.
But that's just standard flexi duct, isn't it? Off of anything, really.
John says, can Alexa hear you when your extractor is running? Well, Alexa's just here, to be fair, so...
Apparently the new one's got fantastic pickup.
Well, do you know, I've got the first gen, second gen, or is it second gen, third gen? I can't remember. And then I've also got the Echo Shows 5-inch and 8-inch. My best one for picking anything up is the first one, the oldest one I've got. Yeah.
Because my big one, I've got the tall one, whatever that was. They don't make that anymore, do they?
No.
And it died the other day. And do you know what? It kept trying to phone someone.
Oh.
We were sat watching telly, and I could hear her talking to herself in the kitchen. And I go out there, and it says, next thing you know, it's someone's answer phone. And it was like, no, stop, hello. Anyway, tried to do it twice, and then when you talk to it, it won't do anything. She lights up, goes blue, and then nothing. So I did a hard reset, all the rest of it, and now she doesn't do anything. You just go, Alexa, she goes blue and flashes if she's listening, and then doesn't do anything at all. But the dot, because we got the dot.
Sulking.
Yeah, that's it. I think she's just got the ump. On a phone a friend. But the dot works fine, so we're just using the dot at the moment. So yes.
Yeah. Andy says he uses a cook hood, works treat. Whatever works for you.
Again, like we said, it's better than nothing. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think a cooker hood's got quite the pull these do. They are very good and all the rest of it. But as I say, a lot of people say about it, you shouldn't use cooker hoods because they're a fire hazard and all the rest of it. Well, if you've got fat on the go and all the rest of it, and I don't think it's going to give you a problem. I think you'd be fine. Hi guys, quick question: is the AK Guns Clear Shine Enhancer, the green bottle, good for coating AK metal colours without dulling it down the finish? Thanks. I have all of them, Charles. Look. And I've done extensive tests with it as well. So you've got the Goozy Clear, which is like a dipping canopy thing. And then obviously you've got this one. I think I've said it before. It's probably the best acrylic one for putting over AK extreme metals if you're going to do it. Personally, I don't overcoat them. I leave them because I think you will. And even with this stuff, you will still lose some of that enhancer. This, to me, looks very, very similar to Future's old milky colour one. So Yes. But personally, I wouldn't overcoat it. Leave it neat. Get that natural colour with it and all the rest of it. I think you get a far nicer thing. It's very metallizers. The whole point of metallizers is that thing where, as I move here, I've got obviously the engines on the B-17 and the wing and the fuselage. As you move, the light is reflecting off of it and it gives a very natural look. As soon as you put a coating over it, it unifies everything. So I don't think you get that nice look. I've got it on the, I think we put it over the 104 Starfighter. Sure we did. I'm pretty sure we covered it.
Yeah, I think you did, yeah.
And again, it's all right. It's just not as nice, I think, as if it hasn't got it on. Admittedly, the pitot tube came off the other day when I was getting another model out. But yeah, it's definitely, it's nice, but it's not as metally as if it had not been covered, So I think it's all right. I do a close up. Where's the close up? I've got more bombs down. But yeah, it's nice, but I just think like the shine is now an artificial shine rather than a natural shine. If that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, it's nice though. If you wanted to protect it, do that. The other option, of course, is a good old-fashioned. Oh God, what have I done with the bottles of it? That square bottle. You know what? Everyone's moved in this house since we've been doing these shows. I don't put things back where I should. Yeah, the square Mr. Model. Which one is it? There it is. Sorry, all over the place. This stuff, which is Mr. Model Masters Metallizer. That one. That, I think, is a nice one. It's probably the best you'll get without really affecting everything. So, yes. So, an enamel, if I do remember rightly. Warning, irritant. I can't remember which one it is now. God, I need glasses. But yes. But unfortunately, you can't get it over here anymore. I don't think you can get it anymore full stop, can you?
No, I don't think you can.
Friends in America will know more. But yeah, this stuff's really, really good. If I was going to cover anything, I would use this. Used it a few times. Works a treat.
Just a couple in our chat, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've lost it again. One of the guys is asking, is PM Stores going to stock the TACOM gun turrets?
Oh, what, the 72nd ones, the big ones?
Yeah, the Moto and...
Yes, I think we are. Yeah.
Yeah. If there is anything that we haven't got in stock, if you just message either myself or Matt, then we can definitely get a price for you and so like, and tell you whether it's available or not. Because obviously we don't have every single thing in stock, especially the big stuff. So if there's anything you want, just message one of us and we'll be able to find out whether or not it is available, because some suppliers are harder to get hold of than others, but TACOM is one of those ones that TACOM Trumpeter and things like that we now got a better supplier of that we can get hold of. So if there's anything you want, just let us know. We'll see if we can get it for you and a price for it. But yeah, there's obviously we can't carry everything.
No, that's it.
Impossible.
As I say, it's impossible for, unless you are, got loads of money, but we can't afford to carry everything. So if you've got anything you'd like us to get in, chances are we can, even if we don't keep it in stock. So just shoot us a message and we'll see what we can do. And again, same thing again. Sometimes we don't know, makes weird, but sometimes we have no idea that people might even want something. And then we put it up on the site and on the forum. And then next thing you know, everybody wants one. And we're like, really? Okay, so we'll get them in then. But at the time, sometimes we think, we won't get those. But yeah.
And Will's also asking, says, hi guys, are the new Pledge products still usable? I'm talking about the Pledge multi-surface floor wax to the Pledge floor gloss.
Told you everything keeps moving on me, like this one. Again, it goes back quite a while now, but The reason we all used this was purely because it was cheap. It used to be like £3 for a 750ml bottle back in the day. And that's why you used it, because it was a cheap gloss. It was a cheap, quick gloss. Unfortunately, now it's not cheap anymore. And really, when you put it into how much thinner you put into other glosses, like GX bloody 100, it's really thick, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when you thin that, I usually thin it about 80%. So, and a bottle of this is, I don't know, about £4, something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So by the time you put thinners into it, you probably make up about the same amount, and that stuff's a lot better. So I think in some ways it's a little bit of a false economy. Okay, this you could just put in your airbrush, spray it neat, and you're good to go. This you'd obviously have to make it up and all the rest of it. But I think it's just one of those ones where time has moved on, but in some ways, some things are quite old school, and using clear is definitely one of them. To be honest, I don't even use it anymore. This thing I got in as a bit of a C, and I use it, to be honest, with some of my props. So, to be honest, this had a coat of it. So when I did the bowcaster, I was just doing a bit of checking and all the rest of it, and I needed just something glossy and chuck over it and flood it. So I used that and just put that through a 0.6 airbrush, flooded it right the way over, and did it that way. So it was a case of, right, now I know what I'm doing, and I just went painted over the top of it. So we were good to go. So again, it was just because I couldn't be bothered to knock up any 2-pack lacquer, because normally I'd 2-pack lacquer it, and we do that instead.
Looks like you've been polishing your balls.
Well, this is it. I have polished my balls. Thank you for noting, Andy. I might have given them a quick spray of buffer balls and polished. So to give them that nice, authentic, polished look. So, but yeah, that's it. So again, I think in some ways time's moved on, things have changed, but people still think floor care. But honestly, you could use other glosses. We spoke about it before. I think I've got one that's got a horrible colour back here, but yeah, look, this sample, which has got a lovely, sample colour. Yeah. The bottle of this used to be about £6, but you think how much gloss you could make whilst you thinned it. You'd do a lot more than that. And this allegedly is UV stable. Don't think it is. Not that colour. So obviously that would work better. And you could knock up a bunch. And to be honest, I used to do that. I used to knock up a load of this and then literally have it ready to go. And away you went. But yeah. So in some ways, false economy. But if you want to do it, obviously that's the one you want to go for. So it's called now Pledge Floor Care Finish. It used to have a brown label in the UK, but now it's gone blue. This one's a US one I brought in from the US, but yeah.
Dave Bennett also says, thanks for the answer yesterday about painting bronze with his undercarriage and cast parts. Second part, what is the best glue to attach to the model, e.g. undercarriage legs, etc.? Thanks.
Yeah, to be honest, I have 2 ways I do mine. As Andy's got there, just normal CA glue will work fine. But if I've got, when I did purely because of the size and the weight of it, the 24 scale Typhoon, I've actually got like a 5-minute epoxy resin. Yeah. So I'll knock up a bit of that because it's like a square peg system into it. Put a bit in there and then put it in, because the trouble you have with all super glues is that ultraviolet light will kill it. It will literally turn to dust over years to come. But also you've got that shock factor where if you flick it, and if you ever want to get super glue, just flick it and put a shock through it, and then you can just pull it off. So obviously if you use like a 3-minute epoxy, I've got, to be honest, I need to get some because my last one went off. But, you've got that thing where it's like a tube, 2 bits, and you squeeze it and a bit comes out, and then you can just mix it together, shove it in. You've got a good working time. So like I did with mine, I set it up on its gear, got it all squared in, all nice, and left it. And then you come back half hour later and it's rock hard and good to go. So, yes.
And Mark is also saying that anyone used Mr. Hobby UV cut varnish? It's exactly the same as the GX, except it's got a UV.
Yeah, it's got an ultraviolet stabilizer. Yeah,
but fair, I've never had any trouble with this with UV anyway. Fair, I mean, it's always stays perfectly clear in the bottle as opposed to.
I can prove that one. Where's my one? It's like a sample. Oh, I think I've thrown it after the other week. Do you remember I got one down and it's bright yellow?
Well, that's a Tamiya with thinners in it. That one's gone a bit yellowy. I've got another one somewhere that's really yellow.
I can beat you there because you can see it. That mine's proper yellow in here. It won't matter. You can still use it.
Yeah.
But you can probably see it's gone like yellow. Hold on, let me do it here. I can do a side-by-side comparison. You see that one compared to one that is brand new. Give it a shake. Jeez, get the lid off. There you go. That's a good example.
Yeah.
So that's brand new bottle, unopened. This has been opened and it's got a tiny bit of thinners in it already. So what I do for this one, because it's the flat coat, I just top it right up to the neck with self-leveling thinners. And that gives me a lovely satin finish, but you can see how the colours change. But don't worry about it, because some manufacturers, and I've got one here, you can probably see in here, this is, there you go, see this has gone off, but it hasn't gone off because it's like that when it's brand new, and that's the attacker stuff. But I've used it all the time and it's never a thing. But I did check with them when it was new, is this right or is it a sample? And they did report back to me that no, it's supposed to be like that. So... But yeah, but the yellow, it's only because yellow's a really, really strong pigment. Apparently it's the strongest pigment in nature, I'm told. And then what happens is, obviously, it'll affect everything around it. So it shows, but when you put it on a very thin layer, you'll never see it again.
But the GX100, say, and the UV cut one, like Phil said, you need to be thinning it sort of 70-80% with Mr. Hobby leveling thinners.
Mm.
It is very thick, and it does like to be thinned very, very thin.
To be honest with you, the first time I used it, because actually Andy gave me this bottle. Look.
Yeah.
And it was a case of have a play with that. Very impressed with it. But I sprayed the first time, I didn't really get on with it. And that's because I just didn't thin anywhere enough. I think I did it 50-50. And my airbrush was really struggling. Yeah. So I dumped it back in and then added more thinners, did it again. And it was like really, really good. And then I used it for whatever it was and thought, yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's fine. But then I really went overboard with the thinners. I think I almost slipped. I did it in the colour cut as usual. And but it went down beautifully. And I was like, oh, light bulb moment. So it likes to be 70-80% thinners. Nice thin coats and it's absolutely fine with it. It really is a good one.
And I find it rock hard as well. Once it's gone off, you can handle your model and so like you don't have to worry about marking it or scratching or it's rock hard.
It is very, very. Just got a couple here, then I'll do that one that's on the screens. We need to get rid of that. They're going to be red banner on it. Igor says, why no likes and dislikes? They're always turned off because I don't care. To be honest with you, we used to have them on and all the rest of it. But I turned them off. I don't know. It was one of those things. Let's say it sounds really odd, but I don't put things on YouTube. It's done for the membership and things like this. It's not done for general consumption. So I really don't care if people like it or not, because we're going to do it anyway. That's that type of image. But it's a bit like comments. A lot of people say, oh, why don't you have the comments on? Because you always get an idiot. So I always leave them off. And you wait, I'll get a load of dislikes now for this because you've said it. And people were very, very... I don't know. I don't even know why everyone loves YouTube so much. It's, I use it as a platform, which is our platform because we can stream live onto it with no problems and it's easy for people to get to. But we've only been on here since around about 2011, 2012, I think it was, we came on here. Because before that, we had our own server. And then obviously it was costing us an absolute fortune every month. So we made the jump over to here. But I've often said, if we could get away with having our own server again, I'll do it in a heartbeat. Because you get to get more control over it and all the rest of it. But that's really why. Because again, I do it because I enjoy what I do and don't mind if people like it or they dislike it. I just do it because we enjoy it. So I don't care really what people think. And the other one was, Phil, your desk looks incredibly clean today. It has been a week, hasn't it? Are you not building it at the moment? I am, and tomorrow I'm going to get back on with this before we're back on with you in the afternoon for the PM show. But obviously I was waiting for the paint to turn up. Max now sent me the paint. So I've got the paint for this and all the rest of it to get on with doing the MRAP. But to be honest with you, I've been doing mugs. I was out literally in the unit at 6 o'clock this morning doing mugs, went right the way through to 11, did the post run, had a few things to sort out and all the rest of it, and then come in here doing this. And then after this, because we don't have to edit it, which is great, I'll go back out and do more mugs. But the mugs are all in and I'm getting them all out. So that's the plan. So if you're US, Europe, they're on their way. If you're UK and ordered 2 mugs, purely because they're in a separate box to what the singles are going into, I think about a third of those have gone out as well today. So 4 mail sack balls of those have gone out. I've done those. So yes.
You don't have to say So I was about to say, you don't have to say now if you don't want to, but are you doing a separate build for the turkey shoot, or are you going to carry on with your...
Me? I
I can't
am.
remember what you've said.
I am. I'm going to do this little guy. I've got him all lined up for it. And I might do that pig shell yet.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I do remember you saying that.
So yes, I'm going to be doing this little guy. Yeah. So I'm going to do Angry Phoenixes. I've got a little stand and I've got a bit of acrylic, so I'm thinking we'll get him up on acrylic and do the Angry Phoenixes. So yes, but also I've got the pig shell, which I have done the review for, and it's all waiting to go up. But I might do that as well. So you might get the pig shell. We'll go the same day as I'm going to put the Redstone Mercury ones. They're all done. It's just that I haven't put them up yet, so I'm drip feeding you all this cool stuff. James just says, what is the best way to remove sticky residue left over on canopy masks with either plastic or acrylic paintwork? Enamel thinners, but use a mild one. So as you say, if you've got an odorless enamel thinners on a cotton bud, just give it a go with that. Because that way you won't affect your paintwork at all. Unless you paint it with enamels, of course, and then don't do that at all.
What if you've used Future on your canopy?
What, and then you've got sticky marks on it?
Yeah.
Then you should have done it like we said at the beginning. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Hold on, apparently we're offline.
Hey?
Oh, hello. Did we have a glitch, everyone, or are we back? Oh, I'm not sure what's happened there. I'm hoping we're okay. Can everyone give us a thumbs up in live chat if we're okay? I just had a big thing that says you're now offline, but according to this, we're still on. No glitch this end.
Yeah,
Oh, that's weird. I just had a big thing came up and a line through it and it said you're now offline. All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you for that. I panic on. First time I've seen that pop up. It was like, ah. So yeah, no, it's, yeah, if you'd done it the proper way, like I said before, you wouldn't have the sticky marks on, would you? Because you would have not masked it before you dipped it. But that's the trouble. If you dip your canopy, you can get sticky marks in your future. And that causes a little bit of problem. Cheers, everyone. Thank you. Alexa, switch Phil back on. Probably. It's taken over. That's it. It's literally like how. Won't be able to get out of the house. It'll lock us in. It'll set the alarm and everything. It's all integrated. It's a bit worrying, really. Especially when it's making a phone call. I'm just glad the person was out. It was whoever it was. It went to an answer phone. It was like, what the hell?
Fair. The guys were commenting in chat about not using Alexa, and if you think, what was it? If you're giving your computer control to your house, going and watch 2001 or Terminator and come to your senses. This
is it. It is Cyberdyne Systems. Here we come.
The thing is, though, if I didn't have her, who'd turn the lights on and who'd turn the telly on and who'd turn the lights off and things like that?
Shell would do it for you.
Yeah,
but love turn telly on.
That'd be too much for her, and then I'd have to get another wife, and then I can't afford two wives. So
Shell won't go for that idea. I'll tell you that right now. She's not going to give you that option. So yeah, you have to keep Sam on. He's not allowed to go to university because you have to stay and be your slave.
Oh no! I need to get rid of him.
So yes.
Phil says, "Stop saying she's getting confused."
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't have her in here anymore. But it's the rest of the house has got it. But yes. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Let me do this once on the screen. Some of you have had this pop up before. So what we got here is a message that you might have popping up on the forum. And then Graham says here, yesterday you received a message when he signed in that the email account was no longer valid. Okay, so I can generalize this in a bit. You might get this pop-up. It does tend to come up every now and again, okay? What happens is it's one of two reasons. One is your email has been returned. So if you've got email notifications or something on the forum, okay, it's been returned back to the forum. So the forum can't deliver it to you. So it's asking for a decent email. So sometimes it can be it's gone in your spam folder or it's gone somewhere a little bit awry or something else. The other thing that can happen, and we had a real problem with it, I think about beginning of the year, and I thought the devs had fixed it somewhat, but we were having people and it was demanding you change your email because under new cyber rules and all the rest of it, if we get found to be spamming, so i.e. if we keep sending out emails and they're not, requested by you and all the rest of it, we can get fined for it. So to prevent us getting done, what happens is that the system automatically defaults back to ask you for a new email address so it can send you correct ones. Because what's happened is it's been told off by the, cyber police or someone that we've been spamming. So that's what it will happen. But we had it in the beginning of the year, and apparently it was just that our system was a little bit twitchy. And what it is, the devs, I think they're just paranoid they're going to get sued, because technically I think the devs would get done for it, not us, because they host. And I think it's the host company that gets done for it. So that's maybe what it is. But normally it means that your email is being returned back to the forum undeliverable. So somebody might be sending you a message. It may be you've asked for notifications. It may be your daily updates, your things like that. It's being bounced back. So it's just asking you for an email address it can work with. So it may be that, but give it an email, then switch back to the old one. That's how I get around it and what we've done in the past. So yes. IB Cyclist, or Mike even, says, Phil, many thanks. Received the complete set of sanding sticks purchased from the Telpid weekend. I'm now confused by all the choices, just whichever one feels right. Seems that the sanding sponge FMS021, which is the fine dual sander, seems to be the one of choice. It doesn't matter because the team's enthusiasm is keeping me going through a period when my business has collapsed. Your daily banter keeps me smiling. Thanks, guys. Sorry to hear that. That's terrible, isn't it? Have you got a bike shop? I'm just because you're IB Cyclist. I thought bike shops are doing quite well because over here they all got funding, didn't they? You've got a voucher to spend in a bike shop. I don't even have a bike, but when in Rome, so buy a unicycle. But yeah, no, sorry to hear that. But as for the FMS 21, yeah, that's the modern. So it's hard on one side, soft on the other. And that's the sander polishy type one. It's like 1200 on one side, 220 on the other. So that's the green cord one. So it's a fine version. And then obviously we do the medium version of it. We don't do a coarse version of it because I don't see the point really. Yes, but sorry to hear you've been hit hard. We were talking about that earlier. I feel like a right shit when people say, how's your work going? And I know they're struggling. I think we covered this before. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's really struggling as well. And it was like, how's work? And I'm like, well, ticking along. Because I don't want to tell him, actually, it's very good, thanks, because I just feel like a shit. Anyway. George says, hi, Phil and team. You mentioned on live chat, eh? You mentioned the live chat. Could you please tell me where it is and available to get to? George, it's easy. All you do as a member, I keep doing it old-fashioned way. You can't do it that way. It's not working. Right, George, over here, you see the bubbles? I can't do it because I'm already signed in, and it will screw it up if I do it twice because I'm on a different system. If you click that, it will open up the chat room, and you'll see everybody in there, and you can talk to them. They're a friendly bunch, aren't you, chat people? And that's it. Or you can use obviously some of the shows we use YouTube chat as well, which a lot of the guys are on as well. So that is in there like that. But that's it. It's just the speech bubbles. So down in here, you've obviously got the file system. So if you click on up here, obviously you just get all the things and you can do shortcuts to get to everywhere really quickly. Okay, or as I say, this one down here is basically the latest ones. This is all the members, so you can filter them all in there. That's a calendar, which to be honest, we never use. That one is to get into the live chat room, and that one is obviously to go back to the main site. Simples. Simples.
The chat that Phil mentions, it is available all the time, and some people do, some guys do jump in even when we're not on and talk to each other, but it normally gets used when we're on live shows like this.
Yeah.
And if you find you get annoyed by the noise,
yes, there's a little speaker at the top left where it says chatting online, type a message, and then there's a speaker. Just click it and it'll turn off the annoying bling sound. So, yes. Okay, Matt says, different Matt, Hi, Phil and team. I thought he was going to troll us. I need some new sprue nippers. I can't remember which guys you recommend. So apart from the expensive Goddamn ones, what do you and Matt use and stock-wise at the PM? Now, to be honest with you, just before we did this, we did speak about this one. What we've done with them, here they are. So the ones we have at the moment, you will have two choices. That camera is, I think the camera's dying. It's not liking to focus. Obviously we got these ones, but they, for some reason, I've got 1, 2, 3. But apparently we're now calling them 35. Okay, that's those. And we got these ones as well, which are the uber cheap ones. And if I go over to the site, they are down here. So that's these ones here, 35, which I think, I don't know if they are 100% the same. I've got 1, 2, 3s, but we've got 35s in the store for some reason. And we got these ones, which I haven't used yet. That camera is really going to annoy me. For some reason, it's not focusing. Which are these? Okay, which are, how much are they, Andy? Not very expensive, are they? Oh, we're sold out. £16. But these are single blade nippers. So what happens is they work just the same as the display ones that I use, which I really like as well. So, to be honest, I'm waiting for us to get them back in stock. And Matt did point out they're due in today. But seeing as he's done a bunk, he's looking after Littlin. Hopefully, as soon as we've got them in, I'll do the review of them. Because to be honest, I've got the review for this to do as well. So I wanted to do them all together to do like a tool day. So we will sort it out, though, and get it done. So it likes focusing on my hand, but nothing else. Because it doesn't like focusing on metal, I'm sure of it.
Just had 10 people join chat for some reason.
So they signed in and out. Perhaps it's a bit stuck. So yes.
But yeah, I use the same as what Phil uses. I've got the they're the display ones, are they?
Yeah, these are the display ones, which there's reviews up there you can see. Apparently they're a bit of a nightmare to get at the moment.
Yeah, and then I've got the God Hand ones. But then I've also got a cheap pair of Tamiya looking things, but they're not Tamiya ones, and I just use them just for chopping bigger bits off.
The funny thing is, the ones I actually really do rate are the Mr. Hobby ones, but for some reason they discontinued them. But apparently they are coming back. These are also very nice as well. These are Mr. Hobby. Which ones do they call these? The for plastic, apparently. Good numbering, isn't it? But yes, but yeah, the Mr. Hobby ones are single blade cutters as well, and they're quite tough. So yes, trouble with the God Hands ones is very easy to break them.
Yeah, at the same time as you came on, Brian, about 10 other people either rejoined or joined at the same time as you for some reason. But yeah, you can get. I've got loads and loads and loads of different nippers. I quite like these ones. Oh, they're the Tamiya ones, but chunky ones, which are good for taking big bits off.
And to be honest with you, I use these as well, which are the Citadel ones, because these are great. So if you've got a kit like a, what's he called, Mac 2 kit, you'll need a pair of these.
See, do you know yours? When you leave them open, are they very, very wide?
That's a personal question. That wide. As in width-wise, on my mat, they're 10 centimetres. Relaxed, they're 10 centimetres at the slack.
I mean, I've got pretty big hands. I just feel that they don't naturally sit in my hand until you sort of.
They're not the most comfortable thing to hold anyway, because I find my hand slips towards the front because there's no rubber on it, because it's metal. Because these are rubberized, your hand fits in them quite nice and doesn't move. I need to plasti dip it. Yeah,
I find them too wide. Do you know what I mean? They're sort of like they're not nice to hold until you start. Until you pull them in a bit. They're sort of a bit. Don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they're very comfortable at all. But I say my gripe is that when I'm cutting like this, you see my hands naturally sliding along. Where obviously the others, because they've got rubber coating and they're textured, they don't move. You're okay. But these things, they just tend to work your way in. I find myself having to reposition my hand all the time.
Yeah, I mean, who was it? Paul says Zero nippers. I've got some of those also somewhere. But they could be anywhere. But then Old Faithful.
Yes. Can't go wrong. Yes, these are now, must be 25 years old.
My wife's even been using these for trimming my hair.
Oh, is it? Doing your ears again?
Yeah.
Right, I've lost all positions of exactly where we were. Yeah, because look, it disconnected me briefly. Amazing we still carried on though, but it did disconnect me briefly. It says you've been disconnected for chat. We'll reconnect you. So yes. Bit weird
Phil,
on that
Andy,
one.
etc. Are you stocking up ready for Brexit? We don't even know what's going to happen, do we?
Don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's a nightmare. I'll tell you what, it's an absolute nightmare. For me, as a company from my side with Flory Models, because of things like MOS, which is digital media, we have to pay VAT on all the subscriptions around the world. Yeah, apparently, I've just been literally told, well, you just need to register in every country. So I have to register a business in every country. That's what the official line is. Or register one company inside the EU and then do it from there. That means I then have to, it's going to cost a fortune. Don't know yet. We're just waiting to see what's going to happen fully. As far as import and export and stuff like that, I think we're all okay. PM's okay. To be honest, I'm the weak link with the subscription fees, how that's going to work. At this point, everyone's going to have to come off your membership again and join Patreon and do it that way, because they pay it all for you and do it via the US. So, God knows. We will see.
In YouTube chat, Robert's asking, when's the FX 148th F86 come out? Due out? Last I heard it was end of December, but that was the end of December, as in 2-3 days before Christmas, and I can't believe it'd be that close to before Christmas. I don't think we'll see it until the new year, personally.
Yeah, as you say, we've discussed this before. We've always got dates being pushed back. Airfix have moved a lot of theirs round. But what's the Airfix one we got on pre-order we just put up?
The thingy tanks.
Yeah, it's only because I saw it earlier.
Cromwell's,
yes. The new 35th scale Cromwell. Is that theirs or is that
Cromwell? Yeah, that's.
Or is it Academy?
It's theirs, but it's been designed by Hobby Boss, was it? It is unique to them, but it's not been done by them. Sure, it's Hobby Boss. This is where we need Matt.
Yeah. See, no, it's fine. He has to spend time with his daughter. That's fine. We'll allow it. Lids is all right. She's probably saying, "Get lost, Dad." Anyway. Roger says, was stuck for colour Tamiya today. Tried Revel mixed with airbrush cleaner. Has dried very smooth. Looking good. Nice finish. It does. I'm a great fan of using airbrush cleaner for acrylics. Do it a lot. Vallejo airbrush cleaner for acrylics works really, really well because it's got a retarder in it. You can see it goes bubbly when you shake it. So it's got like a retarder in there. So that's why it's worked nice. And Phil says, hi guys, PM question. Oh, you might want to wait till tomorrow. You were having a restock. Matt said that he's on the website. To be honest, it came in yesterday, didn't it? I don't know if Matt's done it today because Matt's had the afternoon off, to be honest.
He said he was going to do it this morning, didn't he? But
you were at work.
I was at work.
So yes, and I was busy. I was doing mugs this morning down in the unit, so he's on his own with that one. Chances are, I think he just hasn't got around. As far as we're aware, he did say yesterday the order was there, so it's probably sat on the warehouse floor, just waiting to all go back into computer. But obviously, he's got to check it all off. He's got to load up the racks, and he's got to put it all on the system. So he will get to it, but we will nudge him about it later on, no doubt. Ian says, hi Phil and Andy, what is the best string for rigging? And does anyone make brass hoops for anchoring the rigging to the model? Or do you have to make them yourself? Just missed my fairy albacore delivery. Oh, that's that one we were saying. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Which I'm sure I've done a review of it somewhere. To be honest, Bob's Buckles do fantastic ones. I've got them here somewhere. on now. I'll tell you what, they'll be in the thing. If you have a look at my video build on the Gloucester Gladiator, I used it all in there. So Prim knitting in elastic, which is this stuff, which I absolutely love. It's great. It's very easy because it's stretchy. So you can just pull it a little bit. Super glue works a treat. And then I used the hoops from Bob's Buckles. So I drill the hole and I go through and do it like that. Hold on, if I find it in here, I can show you. I'm sure I've got pictures of it. Where are we? Video builds. Gladiators. And be one of these pictures. Hold on. There you go. So that's the turnbuckles. So what I did was I actually cheated. So down in here, I literally, hold on, where's my, no, we want me. No, we don't. We do want that. Oh God, I'm all over the place without my thing. So what I did was I cut off the sides of these and I just used them as the eyes. As you can see, I've got them over there. Some of them I did bend, but to be honest, got a bit bored. So we cheated. So you can see them down there. So I laid them flat and then just bent the eyes upwards to make the turnbuckles and things. And then obviously we've got single ones. You can see them dotted around up here and up here as well. So we put the dual ones in where it's dualed. Other ones I just cut them, just had single ones in. And then we just went around with the knitting in elastic, as you can see down in here. Some of them we threaded through the holes and then looped back for the ones that were. We went through wings and all stuff like that to do all the rigging on it, which is hours of fun. And then I went around with a Sharpie to paint them all in, to give them that nice metal look and all the rest of it. And then I used some, I think that was the Super Metallics, just to give it that nice look, and obviously to tidy up the glue marks that might be around as well on some of these. So you go right the way through it, and that's doing the antenna, and there you go, that's it all in there. So obviously it's got that natural look, but the great thing about using knitting in elastic, you can stretch it a little bit, and it's very, very forgiving. So it's not putting any pressure on anything as if you've got it wired up hard or anything else like that. So yeah, and then once she's done, I've got a picture of her done. Here you go. That's it. And you can do your rigging just like that. So you can see the turnbuckles down the bottom here. So to be honest, in other words, I did it the usual Flory way and I cheated. So, but it looks impressive. And I said that is LP11 for everybody who says about LP11 using it for dope linen effect. So yeah.
Easy Line also do a similar product, don't they?
To be honest, I think it's the same bloody stuff.
Yeah, and also
it's just they charge a lot more for it. This you get like 500 meters, whatever it is, on a spool. So
and also Ushi van der Oosen do the same stuff, but again, probably paying even more for that.
Yeah. So but that's how I go about it. I think it's just the easy, quick, straightforward way, and I tend to do all my rigging like that, and I have done for many moons.
Elastic's definitely the easiest way in it because you don't have to like cut that to exact lengths, and it tends to. I find it tends that the elasticity of it sort of holds the wings together in sort of compression. So like it helps give it the strength that it would naturally as well. But yeah, just remember to use new super glue.
Yes, that's very important. If you're doing it, use brand new bottle of super glue because you'll have instant grips. There's nothing worse when you're like, and it's moving and you think it's got it, you let go, you look back and it's all come off.
Bing.
Yeah, that's it. That's really annoying when that happens. So a brand new bottle of super glue and you'll have instant grip every time. And that's the nice thing about using the loops. Because other ways I've done with it, I've literally dipped the end of the elastic into super glue, let it go hard, drill a hole and just poke it in, and then do it that way. But the trouble with that is it's, a bit fiddly trying to get it down there and make it clean as well. Where if you use the photo etch, you can glue the photo etch to the wing, okay, paint it, and then you can just come in then and either go through the hole and then come back on yourself and do it properly, or you can just hook round it, literally just hook it around it with super glue, let go and then cut it, and it's perfect fit. And again, it's one of those things. I know a lot of people, and they turn around and say, oh, it's not an authentic way of doing it, and it's not tied up, and it's not rigged, and it's not like that. But from 4 foot, you can't see it anyway. So, yeah, I'm sat probably 5 foot away from it now and can't even see the rigging, let alone the turnbuckles on it. So, it's one of those things. It depends how far you want to go into it. If you wanted to do it, I know some people, they do it and then they have the two bits like this and then pull it. So the geometry with the wings, it pulls it all in and it holds it all together. But yeah, I'm definitely not that far into it.
Could you get another one out of YouTube chat?
Yes.
One of the guys, Jason, saying, as spectacle wearer, any thoughts on the best head magnifier to use, please? I use one of these.
Yes.
Which is a Donegan optical optivisor.
Yes.
And well, of course, it works perfect with my glasses. These, I've got proper glass optical lenses on them, high quality, even though mine are absolutely filthy at the moment, need cleaning. And I've had this one a good few years. I think I was the first one to start using a one to being the older one of us.
One with dodgy eyes.
It does have a leather band on the front, but I went all manky, I think, because spraying lacquers in a small room, it just attacks everything.
It eats it, yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, perfect, that is. I've had that one for years. And people always ask, mine is a number 5 lens, which I believe is a 0.25.
Yeah, I think that's what's in these. Oh, these are 0.2.
0.2, yeah, I can't remember what this is, but yeah, but they call them, they're all numbered, you see, and this is number 5. I'm sure it's got a feeling it's 0.25 lens, I can't think. But it's like, yeah, that seems to be the most popular for modelers using these. Your eyes.
I should think, the trouble that you have with these ones is if you wore glasses, I don't, but obviously you wear them like glasses.
On your bridge, yeah.
So you can't wear these with glasses, I wouldn't have thought. I don't know, perhaps somebody in live chat does, but surely if you're wearing glasses, these would be just all over the place because they're sitting like a pair of glasses does. So at least with those, because it's on your headband, it's not interfering with your glasses.
Phil says he doesn't yet.
To be honest, I use this all the time. This year has been my year for this. I've been on all my modelling. My modelling's looked so much worse since I've started wearing these.
It's amazing how much you do see through them, though, isn't it? And
yes,
you think,
it is. You do.
Stay to that. And, yeah.
Again, my ones are being advertised all over the internet at the moment. There must be a job lot going around somewhere because they're quite cheap, but they're very, very good. And I say, I've had those. I think Krista sent me those, and I've had them for years, and they're just fantastic, really good.
Yeah. Rob says, when you're doing a demo of the Trumpy scraper.
I did it on the thing, didn't I? Buster got a workout. I scraped through Buster with it when we did the turkey shoot weekend. You have to sit through that again. No, the Telford weekend I did. Buster got a workout with it. To be honest, watch this weekend because I'm going to use it because I use scrapers all the time. So you'll see all about it.
Rob says, hi, thanks for the shows keeping me sane. How do I stop this airbrush needle sticking between airbrush uses? Okay,
so a couple of things with that one. One is, what are you spraying? If you're spraying lacquers, then I would just give it a drop of WD-40 on the backside of the seal set. So what you can do is literally, if you're coming in from this side, take out, because I've done it, to be honest, I've done it on these. For the guys who follow us, you'll know you saw me do it, and it's still perfect, which I think is testimony to it must work. But obviously, if you just take out the needle out the back, okay, just give it a slight spray of WD-40 just in there, yeah, and then literally we just came along and then you just push through. So what happens is it shouldn't push through any further because it will get stuck on the needle set. But what I think it does though, if you've got like a triple seal like this has got, it'll put WD between the seals. But my needle no longer sticks. And this has been in there for weeks and it's absolutely fine, no problem at all. And the other one's all right as well. And you might remember I did it to these as a bit of a, when we were testing it all, and it is good. Now, if I had used Super Lube, which again, I don't really want to get political here, but somebody did send me a very long message all about Super Lube once about you shouldn't use it. I can't comment purely, but I think they might have had a point because they say if you use Super Lube and you lube up your airbrush and then you leave it off to one side, the Super Lube goes off. and it basically dries out and leaves a residue behind that grips the needle to your seals. He turned around and said, you're better off using WD-40. And it's worked. So the only thing is, it does smell a little bit WD-40 because I can just get wafted it then. But yes, in fact, I haven't got my WD down here. Normally it's down there. But I did do it, and that was, well, beginning of the lockdown, we were on about that. And it's been fine to this day. So they've probably been 6, or definitely, I haven't used this airbrush in 6 months, and it's absolutely fine. But my worry is if you're using WD-40 with true acrylics, if any of that oil gets in the front end, it's going to mess up your paintwork. So yes, be careful.
JTown163 says, I think there is a mouse pointer just right of Andy's head.
Yeah, look, there it is. Look.
It does it on purpose.
I do. It's like having a fly round, isn't it? It's better. What happened with there's a full story to this. It's very complicated. So we've got 2 computers run all this setup. So what it has, I have 2 monitors, but each monitor's got like 3 screens running. So we have a screen for Andy, we have a screen for Matt, we have a screen for me. Then we have another screen, which is obviously what you guys can see at the bottom here. So if you imagine it's almost screen sharing, and then we've got another screen which you can see, which is my output one, which gets sent to my other computer, which then sends it all out and does all the hard work. And so sometimes if I've got a mouse here, for instance, I'm actually on a different screen, but it looks like it's over Andy. So I have to remember to pull it off. And I noticed it, we were on a show last week, and I did keep noticing it on the screen. So when I was scrolling, I was having to be right off a camera, so it wasn't showing. So apologies, that's me.
Yeah, talking a bit about Optivisors, which one's the best to use?
Yes. To be honest, Optivisors, like airbrushes and snips, what you feel comfortable with and what works for you. So at the end of the day, as I say, Optivisors, I don't get on particularly well with the one that Andy's got, because I've got that one as well. I just find it cuts into my forehead and it's really uncomfortable. But then I think it's because I've got a stupid shaped head and it just doesn't sit comfortably on me. I prefer this one because I can look over the top of the actual thing. And I do find myself looking over the top and down the sides, and then I have the sweet spot in the middle. Anybody does VR, you know what I mean. So you have that sweet spot in the middle for your close-up work and then general everywhere else. So yes.
Well, apparently JTown168 says my magnifier, the ones like Phil, come with an elastic head strap.
Yeah, apparently they do. You can change out the arms by doing something, which I can't remember what. One of these things they ping out. I can't remember how you do it now. It was on the instructions. I think these came with the elastic one as well as. I'm pretty sure. Don't want to break them because I haven't done it. But I'm pretty sure you press this button on the side. No, I don't want to wreck it. But you can change it for an elastic one. So you can have it like a elastic one run around your head. But to be honest with you, I've never known these to fall off. They're not like, dropping off your head. They do seem to grip quite well. So, yeah.
And Plastic Modder says, I don't know, I still see better without them than with them.
It'll
and
come.
Watto92 says, it'll come, don't worry.
Yeah, that's it. It'll come. You say, it happened to me beginning of the year. Or it's the end of last year. Suddenly I was like, you do that thing where sometimes, we all do it as modelling. You're looking very closely at a part when you look at the instructions. And your eyes aren't snapping, as I call it. Your eyes are taking time to focus. And I must admit, I went and saw the old optometrist and had my eyes tested, which broke me up because it cost me like 25 quid. And it was literally, he did all the thing and he explained that it's something to do with the elasticity in your iris or whatever it is where it focuses. And he says, approaching 50 now, he was saying, that's just life. It's just what it is. You don't need glasses yet. There's nothing wrong with your eyesight. It's just the time it takes to focus is a little bit longer, but he said that's perfectly natural. But as you were saying, if he would rather I use something like this than use glasses at the moment, so I don't need glasses. But as I said on the other show, I was really disappointed because I already picked out the frames and the case and I had it all lined up what I was going to have. I thought I looked quite dapper in them, really. And then he turned around and said didn't need them. I came away feeling very disappointed.
I never started wearing glasses until my mid-40s, I'd say. I had perfect eyesight before then, but then all of a sudden you notice that you can't.
Yeah.
Can't focus on close, things closer to you. You like saying your eyes take longer to adjust.
Yeah, my brother was the same. My brother's like 5 years older than me, and he got glasses a couple of years ago. So,
Yeah.
yes, I let him remember that one. But he's into glasses now. He wears his glasses all the time. But he say he got to that point, and that was it.
Yeah. I just went for reading or modelling, which is why they always sit on top of my head, so I don't lose them. But the number of times I'm looking,
then you can't find them. Yeah, where's your glasses? I have no idea. If you try on the top of your head. To be honest, I had that with mother-in-law's neck. Got one of those neck roll ones for a mask, so she pulls it up, and then she was convinced she'd left it in a shop. She's on the phone and said, "I must have either left it in the taxi, or I've left it in a shop, but I haven't got it." And I was like, "Oh right," thinking about it. Then I phoned her back and said, "It's not round your neck, is it?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." So obviously she's pulled it down and it's there. Didn't notice it was there. Spending all day indoors is bad for your eyesight. Look, I am a mushroom, fully official. So come to work in the dark nowadays, go home in the dark, isn't it? It's like everything. Don't see it. That's why I like to get out with the dogs when I can. Any ideas in making seatbelts in 1/18 scale? Say no one does them. 24th is as big as thing you go to. Foil. Aluminium foil, thin aluminium foil. We did a thing about it, and I did a video on it. But if you do Hellcat, Hellcat, if you can be bothered, there it is. Where's the seat? Is not. No, we did. Hold on. Here we go. So aluminium foil sheet. This is probably 0.10 mil, I think it is. Yes, it is 0.10 mil. And obviously it's very thin, so it's thicker than like turkey foil. And then you can put your decal straight to it, or a blank, or whatever you're using. And then the great thing is it's very conformable, so you can bend it, and it looks really very, very nice. So down on there, it hangs and sags just very naturally, which is a nice thing. And you can, you know, give it movement and texture and all stuff like that. I don't know if I've got another photo of it inside of it. There we go. There's a bit more of it in there. You can see it in there. I've got another one. There you go, using a scraper. Glue.
One good thing to use also is wine bottle foil.
Yes, the lead foil around wine bottles.
Good excuse to buy decent wine instead of cheap screw top stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, you could do it that way from a scratch build point of view. I think that's probably one of the ways I would do it, definitely.
So I still like. Let me get me a defaced currency again, but an old friend of mine sent me one of them.
A $1.
$1, and the paper is a real nice texture. Sort of, so like it's weird, but if you cut like strips of it off, which you obviously can tell because I have cut bits off the ends of it, it's really nice for making seatbelts out of.
That's it. You get done for this. I've told you about this.
Yeah, but I'm not
American. The FBI coming through your window in a minute.
But yeah, but it does. Honestly, it does make a really nice seatbelt. You know, so like, and then wet it. Yeah. It sort of like goes into shape, and if you get, like sort of like that colour is not bad for doing seatbelts anyway. But it does. In fact, one of the guys, one of the notes mentioned, so he was on about how do you weather HGW seatbelts. I think you can weather them with tea and things like that.
Yeah, I must admit, my belts like that, I usually just give them an oil wash because it soaks into it. Yeah, a thin oil wash straight the way over with the harnesses just to go in, and also it pulls and gives shadow effect. Yeah, aids with that sort of makeup effect.
The only thing I've done in the past is I made a right cock up where I'd glued all my seatbelts together, and then I wet them with I can't remember what it was a mucky, might have been even tea or coffee to be honest with you, to give them a browner colour. But of course I'd used PVA glue for gluing them all together. And when they got wet,
and
the tea all fell apart.
Oh.
I had to glue them all back together again.
So Andy's technically not destroying the money, he's just nibbling off the edges. He hasn't gone through the middle.
No, so you can still use it. Still got the number on it.
Fine. Plus the fact it's only $1.
When I come back to Morocco, I'll bring it with me and spend it on something. I promise.
What else we got? Phil, have you started your Christmas shopping yet? No, I'm a bloke. I'll do it on Christmas Eve like everyone else. Run round. Well, maybe. Maybe not this year. Or it will be Amazon. But Black Friday sales on Friday. I'll come off of doing the show and like be on my laptop. Plastic Modeler says he's approaching 50s as well, quite nearsighted, which is good for watching the small parts all close up. Yeah, it's better to be nearsighted than long-sighted. Otherwise, you'd be like this, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Peter says technically destroying US currency is illegal.
Yes. We've had this before. Last time you were cutting it all up and burning it and doing stuff. Yeah, but
is it illegal over here?
Yeah.
I'll be in America.
This is the thing. He's not American and not in America. Surely, what about all the drug lords? What they do with their, the same.
Yeah. Neil says, well, Andy Beyond, Department of Homeland Security, hit this for defacing currency.
When you go to the US, you still get, because I haven't been over there for 5 years now, but last time I was in there, they wanted, fingerprints, retina scan, see everything going in there.
And he's going to get extradited to the US. Can you leave it until summertime and then do it to Florida? In fact, not summertime, because it's a bit too hot then, but yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's probably about right. Alan says that it's probably country specific. It's illegal to destroy the currency of your own country, but not others. Probably. Yeah. Thing is, you can't use UK money anymore because we've got that plastic crap that sticks together. First time I saw that was in Canada. Canada had it a few years ago before us now, didn't it? And their money is like we've got now. It's plastic. So.
I'm sure no one will extradite me for $1.
Apparently Neil says you'll have to pay the IRS.
Do you have to pay for the amount I've actually taken off it then?
You do. So yeah, that'll be 1 cent, please.
Not even a cent, is it?
How many live shows are we going to do? Right, okay, so live show turkey shoot starts Thursday night as our normal one, 7:30 till 9ish. Okay, then we're going to be
We're not doing Thursday afternoon, are we?
No. So we're just going to do Thursday night, 7:30, and then obviously we're going to do Friday night with you. No, Friday afternoon. Sorry, I'm getting confused here now. Yeah, so it's Thursday night, Saturday afternoon. So it's sort of like this as normal. Okay, and then Friday and Saturday afternoons, and then Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and Sunday night. So we're not doing technically the mornings, if that makes sense, because obviously it's for the Americans and they're all still asleep. So that's the plan with that one.
So I've written down Thursday evening.
Yeah.
Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Not Friday night.
No.
Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 shows.
Mm-hmm.
So about 2 hours a piece. So I've got 12 hours to build T34 and weather it and paint it.
Yeah. Well, that's a long time. You have a load time to your 109 as well then.
Yeah.
And the Buckeye. You have loads of time.
Yeah.
Yes. So there we go. We won't talk about defacing money anymore because clearly it's wrong and bad. Unless you've got money that is capable of being defaced without melting, like ours. Gone are the days of doing that with ours. Look, question. Zip. I wear glasses and have an optivisor. I think like Phil's. And there's that. Oh yeah, so you can use the headband then and not have the arms. What about the bit on your nose? Do you know does that come off as well? Oh no, that's screwed in or riveted. Screwed. But doesn't the bit on the bridge of your nose affect the glasses?
Yeah, it must. I don't know how you do it unless you have it.
Yeah, unless you stick it a little bit on the end.
Yeah, then I must do. But then that'd annoy me because it'd be
Yeah.
inching your nose, I don't know.
And it does come with a handy light. With the 2 power option on your light. Which I never use.
JTown163 says it's actually the Secret Service enforces US currency. Not the FIRS.
There you go. That's it. Going to be coming through your window.
The Men in Black.
Oh, you put it behind your specs. But you have your specs in front of it then? I don't know. I don't wear any, so it means that to me. Apart from sunglasses, does that count? So yes. Cool. Right. Any more questions? Any more?
This is what Peter says. Australia's had plastic money for decades now. It's quite interesting seeing money with the window for the first time.
Yeah.
I hate plastic money.
The worst one is when you get it fresh out of the cash machine, they're all stuck together.
Yeah.
And funny enough, weirdly, when I was in Canada, which would have been now 5-6 years ago, I was talking to a guy and I said to him about your money's crap. And he goes, yeah, it is. He goes, tip for you, when you've got new notes, screw them up. He says, otherwise they stick together. And before you know, you're giving everybody like, 20 Canadian dollars instead of
It just doesn't do anything. It just don't fold properly, does it?
No, you can't fold it.
So you got the window bit.
Mm.
It's horrible.
No. And it's not vegan friendly. So if you're a vegan, you can't have cash. Somebody was on about something the other day, and it turns out is not vegan friendly. And it was something really obscure. You'd never think there'd be animal products in it in a million years. I can't remember what it was now, but somebody was on about it. It's like, really? So I checked that it has. It's got animal fat in it. And it was something really, really obscure. You'd never think it's got animal fat. You'd think it'd be totally safe, 100%. I can't remember what it was now. It will come to me in the middle of the night. But yeah, it's one of those ones like, really? Why would you even put animal fat in it? But yeah. Yeah, I know most beer and wine. Yeah, that's it. They've all got it in. Most beers do, don't they?
Yeah. David says, do you guys have a break between builds or crack straight on? Do you mean for the turkey shoot? Turkey shoot, we have breaks for a couple of hours in between.
Yeah, we eat and pee. John,
Not
definitely.
sure.
By 2 hours, John's like, he's like the dog at the door.
Yeah. Not sure what quite we're going to do with the Grand Prix that's on this weekend. Didn't think about that, did we?
No, didn't think that one through, did we? Can we move it? Move it a week.
What, the Grand Prix?
The plastic money is instant karma for the UK not going along with the euro. Well, to be honest, it's a good job we didn't now, isn't it? Come the end of this year. I know technically we're not in the euro now, but yes. How much do the molds for a new kit cost the model companies? Funny enough, we were discussing this with a third party, shall we say, and we was talking about the different molds different companies use. And there's a said company out there, which I won't name because I don't know if we're allowed to, uses resin molds. And it was like, resin? You wouldn't think you get 3 pulls out of that. But apparently they use resin molds and they just produce them, and obviously lots of molds made and they do it like that. Yeah, other companies use literally very expensive, high carbon billets and then have them machined and milled for the tooling, which then pretty much lasts forever. And that's why they're worth so much money, the molds themselves, because it's just the raw material cost of the metal. Is there a list of the countries in Africa on the forum somewhere? Nathan did do that. There's a link. I think he did put a link to that, didn't he? I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Africa is just basically the continent of Africa up to the end of Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah, you go as far as the Suez Canal. That's it. You can't go any further. God, where is it? Why isn't it in... Oh, no, sorry, I'm in the wrong one. That's Buddy Build Chat. There's Group Build Chat. Buddy Build Chat. Group Build Chat. 6, 2001. Back to the front. I'm pretty sure in here somewhere Nathan did put... Did we not have a list? There we go. Wiki. Oh, that's the 60s one. I'm sure there is. But yeah, technically, as long as it is in Africa... Yeah, she puts this in. Oh. There you go. There's ones in here. So yeah, you've got some examples right the way through down in there as well. So yes, there is the ones in there, so you can do it from that. Don't forget, you can download that as well, peeps. It's all in there. Do you think Wingnut Wings Lancaster will ever pop up under a new brand? To be honest, we were all surprised to see the Fokker triplane pop up as quick as it did. I think my heart says you won't, because it wasn't completed. We know for a fact, because Andy was with us, we spoke to Wingnut Wings on the Saturday after the show had finished, and we had quite a long chinwag with them, and they were telling us they'd had to retool because it wasn't right. And that's why it got delayed, wasn't it? Because it was supposed to come to the show.
Wanted more detail, didn't they?
So I don't know if that ever got done. So if you think, if they haven't done it, you know, but again, we don't know when it got pulled, if that makes sense. Because when we spoke to them at Telford, they said that, you know, I don't know which sprue it was or which area, I can't remember now, but he was saying about it's going to be completely retooled. They're not happy with it. So they don't want to release it as is. So they were going to go back, redo it, and then it get released. But obviously somewhere between that and Christmas, it all got rug pulled out from them. So yes, which is amazing, really. You think that was November, isn't it?
Yeah, when did they go out of business?
Did it go? So
February.
Yeah. So they must
before
have known,
COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before February. I'm sure it was in December. So you think at some point they'd sent them all over and all the rest of it, and then yeah. So yeah, bit of a shame, that one. I don't know. Again, it's one of those ones where you would hope, obviously, it would, but the way Meng's done this one, it's not Wingnut Wings still. It doesn't have that oozing of Wingnut Wings quality, and we've had a few problems, haven't we, with, you know, obviously broken parts and various things in there, which apparently is a manufacturing problem, which you would never have had with Wingnut Wings. So we will have to see.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't Wingnut Wings owned by the chap who did the Tolkien trilogy, Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson owned it all.
But to him, it was just, it wasn't a business to him, though, was it?
No, it was his hobby, almost. It was an extension of his World War I fighter passion. Again, it's very difficult to speculate about it because there was so much, I think, disinformation going around, because you had so-called experts saying that these kits would never be available, and Peter Jackson, he was going to put them all into an ISO container and leave it in a warehouse, and that'll be it. And then next thing you know, literally within a week, you've got Meng popping up saying, we're releasing the Wingnut Wings triplane. And it was like, how did that even come about? You know? So
it must have been earlier this year it went, because there was rumours that there was issues to do with money to do with COVID.
And then there's other rumours going around that Peter Jackson had a meeting with his accountant and all the rest of it, and turned around and said, look, because again, it was pre-COVID, they made the decision, and turned around and said, look, you're hemorrhaging money, things need to stop. And that was it. It went on the spot. You know, he's obviously, that's where he could easily make a saving, and that was it. So
what we need to do is ask Adam, what's his name, to ask him, because
Savage. Yeah.
They don't
they? Yeah. Unfortunate. Again, it would have been lovely to see the kit, and you've got that problem now, because obviously the nose section I was looking forward to, but I know it's not as nice, but the HK Models one is out now. You can get that one.
Surprised Chinese company has bought the rights. So I think it's common knowledge where the main mold, where the molds were, isn't it? Because they've released one of their kits. But
again, we're slightly speculating here. We haven't heard anything definitive, but Meng used to do all the molding, by the looks of it, for Wingnut Wings. It was all their machinery. They did the tooling, all the bits and pieces, and then Wingnut Wings put their cream on it, so to speak, with fantastic instructions and boxings and all the rest of it. So that's why Wingnut Wings, and there's a rumour going around that obviously Meng was owed a lot of money from Wingnut Wings who haven't paid a bill. So they decided to take said kit.
Gordon J says, getting Peter Jackson on here would be the ultimate guest for your shows. Funny you should mention that.
Yeah, different Peter Jackson, though.
Tune in Friday and see what happens.
Why, are we having somebody on I don't know about?
Yeah, but at least they'll get more people on.
Oh, is that it? Something I should know about at this point.
10,000 viewers sat here waiting for.
Yeah, that's it. The thing is, everyone's saying about, you think with Peter Jackson's money you could afford it. Who says he's got money? It amazes me, these things. You get these celebrities go bankrupt all the time because, unfortunately, they have massive overheads. And, you know, as I say, if they're not getting millions coming in every year, they can't afford to live. So, you know, they don't live almost in the real world like the rest of us who have a mortgage and the bits and pieces. They have big financial commitments in places and tied up in things. So it's a bit like when you see these multi-million-pound houses that footballers have. They don't own them, you know, because I know I've got an insider into that. And, you know, it's quite ironic, really, that how they quibble over various things. Because all the money's tied up in various things.
Yeah. Phil says, what about the nose of the B-17 that's still about? That's the nose that's out is the Hong Kong Models one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, say out loosely.
Yes. Yeah, the Lancaster's out a while. One of our members, Chris, did a review on it a couple of months ago. You just can't get it in the UK. You can get it in Australia and in the Far East, you just can't get it in the UK. So, yes.
PJ net worth 450 million.
There you go, net worth.
That's including houses and.
That's it, and mortgages. Business. That's everything in there, isn't it? It's not, you know. Not being funny. How many celebrities and footballers and that have we seen go bankrupt recently? Various things, isn't it? It's like you think, what, with their money, are they being paid 600,000 a game or whatever it is? Trouble is, though, with Peter Jackson, you know, at the end of the day, he might be just thinking, well, look, we're just going to mothball it. We'll just see what happens. Might come back one day. You never know.
So selling a specialist modelling company that is losing money may not be fair. I think if they wanted to sell it, they'd have sold it. But it was down if it's ever their intention to ever want to sell it. So.
And, you know, that is the thing. You know, they're not actually a moulding company. They're a design company. They didn't do the moulding for it or the tooling or anything else like that. That was all done by other companies, as we know. So, you know, it is that thing. We spoke about it at the time. Would you want to buy Wingnut Wings? Because it's got to be a very expensive company to run, and how much profit do they actually make? You know, we often spoke about it at the time. If they had released a Spitfire and a 109 and a Hurricane and stuff, bread and butter kits, they would have sold a boatload and probably been very, very sustainable. But they were true to what they wanted to do, and that was to produce World War I aircraft. But as we know, it's very, very niche, you know, and the tooling costs were horrendous. The design cost could have been that cheap because, you know, you can't produce a quality kit cheaply, let's face it. So I don't think they were making that much money.
But the talent in the business were the designers, though, weren't they? And there was rumours earlier on in the year that there's a possibility that they might get together and do a venture together,
But then again, not being funny, you're a bunch of designers. Have you got the capital? And do you want to put your house up as capital and all those things on a risk to take on a business? You have to be a certain type of person to do that. I know my dad was one of them, and that's why at one point we were almost homeless living in a caravan when I was very young, because he literally put everything up on a business that my mum was actually, my God, I can't believe we've just done this. And if it had have gone pear-shaped, we would have literally been on the street, because he even put up the caravan that we were living in at that point.
My dad had the opportunity to invest a lot of money into a business, but it would have meant remortgaging the house, and with young kids he didn't want to do it and daren't do it. So
that's the difference. Your dad and mine, bless his heart, but he literally did that. He put up everything, including my grandparents' house, on a business deal. Luckily it worked out. I'll give him his due, it worked and all the rest of it, but if it hadn't, we'd have been on the street. There was no safety net, because he put up everything, even the cars. My mum's car, my granddad's car, and everything went up as collateral for this loan to be able to do it. And it was like, oh my God. My mum said she didn't sleep for 2 years. Oh, well. Right, are we done? Because I've got to get on and get some more mugs all sorted out and everything else like that.
Robert says there's a reason why Fabergé eggs are not sold by those in supermarkets, because they taste horrible. You ever tried eating one?
Hello, Lola.
Break your teeth on them.
If it's not chocolate, it's not real, is it? Say hello to everybody at home. Where's your sidekick? Have you eaten her? You were playing earlier. So, yes. Right, okay, so I'm going to go off and get some mugs done. Lola will need her dinner in an hour. That's why she's here, just to say you do realise it's an hour to go. So you can get it there. We will be back on with you tomorrow, 2 o'clock, with the PM show. So it will be all things kits and stuff like that. You on with this, Andy?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Cool, Andy's on as well. So Matt will be back for that one as well. So we can answer that question, which we didn't know about attacker paint. We'll speak to Matt about that. He'll probably have it on the site, funny enough, by then. And we can go through it there. Don't forget, you got the review of the Peugeot is up there. Tomorrow, I'll put it up before we go live. So perhaps you might want to, for you guys who are furloughed, we've got this is our little bit of a scoop. It's not available till next year, but this is the Ryefield Models Panzer 3 with the aftermarket bits and all the rest of it. I've done the review of that. I'll put that up first thing in the morning. I finished doing the edit earlier, so you get a bit of a feel for that, because we are going to discuss that kit tomorrow's show, and I've got all the other kits as well, so I'll get that Challenger done a little bit later. But somebody asked about my desk was really tidy and clean. That's the point. I've been doing reviews, so I've had to clear everything out of the way, but I will be getting going again hopefully Thursday. It'll be me one, so I'll get a full day on Thursday with it, because we're doing Thursday night with the actual MRAP, so we can push on with that and hopefully get a part for that to be up on Friday with you. So yes. Cool. Very good. Very interesting conversation. Thank you very much for watching this afternoon. Thank you for Andy for joining me and helping me out today. Star as always. So stay safe, stay sanitized, stay separated, do loads of modeling, but most importantly, enjoy it all. So until tomorrow, everybody, happy modeling. Take care. Bye.
Cheers, guys.